Yeah, so one thing that I've learned is I don't script videos anymore. I just outline them because if I'm scripting it and I'm typing it, I don't type the same way I talk.
Yeah.
So, and it makes it harder for me to like come off as authentic if I'm like reading something. So for me, I pull up my outline on one of my screens, got my camera. Once I hit record, I never stop recording. So I've sent my editor like a 35 to 40-minute video before. And he returns it as like an 11-minute video
Yeah.
because any bad take I just keep in. So he just has to cut it out and not figure out, oh, this goes here and this goes here and this goes here. So I never, even if I'm editing it myself, I never stop recording. But if you just use an outline of your main points that you want to hit, because you can glance over and like, oh, okay, I need to know that's a population, that's the median price, this is how much it's grown. Okay, you think about it, and then you can talk for 30 to 45 seconds about those three things as you would if you were just calling me or if I was a client of yours and we were talking about it.
Though, here's the thing. I think a sticking point for a lot of people, and I don't think a lot of people want to admit this, but with video, we want to make videos about stuff and we don't feel like we know enough about it. Therefore, we can't really talk about it. Like, okay, the top three schools in, I'll just, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Well, I'm like, okay, I don't really work there on a regular basis. Let me research them. I don't really know, is what I'm saying. So I have to like
Mm-hmm.
research. And I feel like I have this like hesitancy when I'm trying to, after I learn the information. So, like, do you have a
Mm-hmm.
process where if you want to talk about a subject that you don't know about it, like, how do you go through learning it?
So with that, like I had that thought when I was like getting started and like kind of a newer agent and all that. One of the things I love about YouTube is it forces me to learn these markets better when I don't have a client for that specific market. So if you think like if you have a client that comes in, they're like, I want to live over here. Well, no, you're hyper focused on learning that market if you've never sold a home there. Like that's what you're doing for that client. Treat your video as that client to build your knowledge of it.
Yeah.
So like I was actually just telling Matt, so I have a goal in the next 12 months is to sell a historic property, which here in Charleston is very much a who you know in the crowd you run with market. It is very old money, mostly. I'm launching a second YouTube channel and going all in on just that little market. I know nothing. I don't know nothing. I know maybe enough to get by on
Right.
that market. But over the past week, just coming up with video ideas of what do I want to learn about it? And those are my videos. It's me learning about that market and then just telling you. Because you can learn something, but when you teach it to somebody else, that's when you really retain that knowledge.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So this second channel has two purposes. It's going to help me learn that market. And because we've done this and we know that this system works, 12 months, I will have sold a 200+ year old home from YouTube.
Yeah. You know what I've done in the past too that I'm just thinking here is bringing on somebody that is an expert in that area and just
Mm-hmm.
interviewing them on my channel. So I'm
Yeah.
like, you want to know the best three schools in Murfreesboro? Well, I've got the,
The
president's
school
school
superintendent. Yeah.
superintendent, and he's going to tell us. Of course, he'll say every
Yeah.
school's got strengths and weaknesses, but whatever.
Right. But let him say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that we have share access, let's go down this list and why we're here. So Marina was the first one to put her channel there. So let me find her. everybody see.
Yeah.
All right. So what are your first thoughts, Matt? Let's start there.
I love the banner. I mean, right away, I know she's in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no doubt. Like, she did a good job on the banner. I like that.
Yep. Let's go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I like just a very simple banner like this. Like, here's who I am. Here's where I am. Here's what I do. Like,
Yeah.
that's when you start getting like too many things on there, like telling people when you're putting your videos out and all that, like it kind of looks junky to me. Like,
Yeah.
I know this is a different league, but Mr. Beast just says subscribe for a free cookie or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
at the end of the day, someone has to be very deep into your YouTube world to see this.
Right.
Because
You're right.
they're just seeing this.
Yeah.
They're seeing your videos pop up and they're watching them. And then it's not until they're like ingrained and they're a raving fan probably that they're going to your channel and seeking out a specific video.
Yeah.
When it starts, your videos are just popping up in front of them and they just think it's a coincidence.
It's like more for us. Like, just to
Yeah.
feel good about it.
Yeah, I think people just spend way too much time on their channel banner than they need to. Just make it super simple like that.
Yeah, that's good.
So thumbnails. I like your thumbnails. One thing. So here's what I like about them. They very few words and your face is big. Like these over here. Like these are great. People want someone looking at them. They want to be able to see the whites of your eyes staring back into their soul. What I want to see is different expressions. So like you're starting up here like this, like putting your face on it just to put your face on it could be a little counterproductive. But like you're exploring, like show me that you're excited. Like I would take the emojis off and like use that facial expression. And a good way to get them, you remember when you were in school and they had like the board of emotions and it was like the cartoons with all the different facial expressions and emotions? Like find one of those online and just start going through it and start taking pictures of yourself doing all of them and just save them. And then you'll just have them.
It's funny. These that you pointed out with the emojis, I actually had a company make my thumbnails, and the ones on the top I started doing myself. And so putting the different, and I've given them different emotions. I'm not using them anymore, obviously, but that what you're pointing out, I'm like, okay, maybe I can pick up some more viewers by switching that out. So, because I'm seeing a lot of the same that they put in, right? Like they put the same picture in on a lot of them. And that
Yeah.
was one thing I didn't like. So I can go, obviously I can go back in and change these up, but that's a good, thank you for that, basically, for showing me that or pointing that
Yeah,
out.
and on the new ones, I would just make your face a little bigger like these are. I like to try and have the top of my head like kind of like almost touching like this, and filling up the screen like these. Sometimes when it gets too small, it's like hard to see, and it's like this is the thumbnail, and you're like, who is that down there?
I mean, look at like that first one, Secrets of Mustang Lakes, and her expression. And then if you look to another one, like the difference in the emotion you feel looking at it, like I'm more interested in that. Like she looks more excited, right? And that Mustang Lakes one, you can feel it almost when you look.
Yeah. On that, I would almost want to do more of like an inquisitive, like, you know, like the secrets, like, shh.
Oh yeah, like matching. I know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you're
Try and matching the emotion to the video. So like if you're doing like a market is crashing video, like you don't want this face.
Yeah.
you know, or that,
Oh, we're
or
not happy about
or-
that?
no, you know, you want to, like, here, we'll pick on Jeremy. So like that builder crash one there.
That's impressive. That's
If
gonna
you
be
want to see like really good facial expressions, look up Dan Parker, because he can like do that thing with his eyebrows, and he has a face for thumbnails. I don't, but so if you look, like, yeah, there's some of Jeremy's that are the same, like these two here, you know, but you know, he's probably just has a stockpile of all these pictures. He's probably wearing the same shirt in all of them, and just goes through them. And you can even go in and like, if you use like Canva or PicMonkey, I've even gone in and changed the color of my shirt to make it look a little bit different.
Yeah.
All right. Who do we have next?
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
good job.
We have Ashley next.
Lazarian.
Uh-oh.
Is that Armenian?
Romanian, but yes.
Okay. My brother-in-law is Romanian.
Okay.
All right. Pause this. All right. So again, the banner, simple. Yeah, it's you know, I said that like new video every week, but it's just kind of there. It's not like, hey, subscribe for my new video every single week at 2:00 and all that. It's simple. It's your name. It says real estate, and it says the burbs of Georgia.
She's got 179 videos. Whoa. How long have you been doing this?
Well, so this has been kind of difficult because I actually started back in 2020, but then I partnered with somebody in 2021 and we started a different channel. In the divorce of 2023, she got the channel. I had to start over. So I've really only been doing this like consistently for about a year and 4 months.
Oh, wow. That's good though. I like the consistency.
And almost 1,000 subscribers in that amount of time.
Yeah. Her thumbnails, like she does really good with the pictures. I can tell, like with the glasses and the change of, they look different.
Mm-hmm. So
That's cool.
for the longest time, I was in the camp of that the name of your channel didn't really matter. But I think now that more people are getting into it, I think it matters just a little bit more, especially for new viewers. My one thing that is kind of confusing to me, it says moving to Georgia, but then right under it, it says suburbs of Metro Atlanta.
Yeah.
So do you do videos about the whole state?
So that's what's difficult, right? Because I don't do the whole state. I do like North Metro Atlanta, but I feel like it's one of those things like Ken Posick, he says Orlando. So you know exactly where Orlando is. And if I said Atlanta, you know exactly where Atlanta is. But if I say Beaufort, Georgia, unless you're from here, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So I'm always really struggling with how do I nail down the area which is like the North Metro Atlanta suburbs.
I would just say Atlanta.
Okay.
Because that's your recognizable name.
Right.
If someone's moving to Woodstock, that's outside of Atlanta.
Right.
They're probably going to initially say, hey, I took a job in Atlanta. I'm moving to Atlanta. Even if they're moving an hour outside of it, it's Atlanta.
Okay.
That's kind of your big target.
Yeah.
So like for mine, I changed mine. It just says like your Charleston real estate guy.
Okay.
And it has my name. So it's like, that's my big market as opposed to your Charleston, Somerville, Mount Pleasant real estate guy.
Right.
Like if people are moving to Somerville, which is 45 minutes from here, it's still in my market, but they'll just say, hey, yeah, we're moving to Charleston.
Right.
We're moving to Atlanta. So I would just change the Georgia to Atlanta.
Okay.
Because this looks like it's a whole state thing. So if someone's moving to Beaufort, Georgia, or they're moving to Warner Robins or Savannah. Like they might come onto your channel and be like, that's not, I wanted more Georgia stuff.
Right.
And she
So-
could always make like playlists for those cities down below and then
Yeah.
make specific. I have the same problem. I'm in Nashville, but I don't really do much in Nashville. I probably do most of my stuff south of Nashville.
Mhm.
I have the same exact problem. I'm still struggling with it.
Okay.
Most of my
Nice.
content isn't about Nashville. It's about like your Buford, my Spring Hill, Franklin, that type of stuff.
Okay.
I feel the pain. I understand.
Okay.
So this is my friend Brandon. He's in Chicago. Brandon doesn't sell in Chicago.
Okay.
He sells the Chicago suburbs.
Right.
So his channel is living in Chicago suburbs.
I like
So
this.
that,
I like this idea a lot. That's a good
and
idea.
he has leaned into this and gone all in on, I don't make content about Chicago and the high rises and all that. I make videos about Naperville because it says Chicago in there. So like you could do living in Atlanta suburbs.
Right.
So now you're not the Atlanta city girl. You're the
Right.
suburbs, like, because that's where most people that are relocating are moving.
Right. And I'm not going into the city unless it's darn well worth it because I hate the city.
Yeah. And you're gonna have to do videos probably about markets that are south and east
Right.
and west that are probably a little far for you. Just get
Right.
some great referral partners down there.
Exactly.
But now you're the Atlanta suburb girl. And like
Can I ask your
that's
opinion?
your niche down. Yeah.
Can I ask your opinion about my coach has been talking to me about possibly starting doing more home tours because I usually do those, but I post them as like shorts or reels. If you posted, something like that where you're doing home tours, would you have that on this channel or would that be a completely separate channel?
There's a lot of ways to look at that. I wouldn't like go heavy into it unless that's all you're gonna do.
Right.
But I'm not against it. It's kind of this like spot where like for a while I was like, no, like this isn't my channel. But then it's like, if you're gonna do it, incorporate the area into it as well.
Okay.
So then it will live a little longer
Right.
than just, hey, we're checking out this house. I'm just using Woodstock because I know that and friends with Greg Code. But like if you did something like, hey, we're going to check out Woodstock today, see what it has to offer, and then there's this great listing we're going to check out, so stick around. So now you're showing off the listing, but you're also like, here's why you would live here.
Right.
Not just like, check out this house. So now you can incorporate it, and it's more of an evergreen video of, you can even start with the house if it's like a walkable house or something. Like now you're pulling in the area, you're
Right.
pulling in your Atlanta suburbs into a listing video, and then
Okay.
still do them short form too, because those they crush.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's go down to the videos down here. I like it. Matt,
I like the
I'll let you start on these.
A or nay. I like that. No, I mean like the white letters I can see really well. I mean her thumbnail pictures are really good. Like the different expressions are great. I'm just trying to read some of is Duluth the best place to live in Atlanta? That's good. People will find that looking for Duluth.
I would be careful about the color of your words and the color of the background.
Okay.
So some of them are just like a little bit harder to find. Like you really want them to pop.
Okay.
So if it doesn't pop, I like using white text as much as possible. If it doesn't pop, I'll put the thinnest little black border around it and then put a shadow behind it. And
Okay.
it just like comes off a lot more. But like up here, where to live as a young professional, like the sky is turning yellow and the text is kind of going into the yellow. That it's like you have less than a second. Here's what someone's brain does. They see the thumbnail. They subconsciously read any words that are on there. Their brain goes down to the title and they've already decided whether they're going to click on it or not.
Right.
In like less than a second, their brain does that before they realize it.
Okay.
So you need to make that thumbnail is your first line of defense to get someone to click your video.
Right.
If they don't understand it, their brain is never going down to read that title. And if they don't do that, they're never going to click on it.
Right.
So the more you can have your words pop, so like the HOA, yay or nay, the only thing I would change, I would move that text up.
Okay.
Because always remember you have that timestamp in the corner.
Oh, yes.
So I try and avoid that bottom right corner as much as possible.
Right.
But I mean, just move it up just a little bit and it'll be fine.
Okay.
So I always try and like down here, that no one talks about these, like maybe put a little border because that one is kind of getting lost.
Yeah.
But like putting yourself on that right side, that time's right there, like at your shoulder, like that's fine.
Okay.
You know, but then like you kind of get into like here, like this Dawsonville, like it disrupts it enough that like you have to like really look at it. And that's what you want to avoid.
Okay.
You want your audience to be like, oh, Dawsonville, boom, click. Not Dawsonville, is that an F or an E? Like, you know, you want to avoid that. But otherwise, like, I love them.
Okay.
My personal preference with this newest one here, I love the use of AI in thumbnails.
Right.
I love it as a background. So if I do an AI background, I always put text over it. So it's not like, hey, look at this AI drawing of Atlanta.
Right.
You can just create whatever background you want and then put your couple words over it. And then the words are the focal point, not, oh, she couldn't even use a real picture of Atlanta.
Right.
If it's behind the text, they're not even going to notice.
Okay.
You know, I'm looking at that one you were just talking about. Like, that's got to be a good video for you. I mean,
this one here?
That subject. I mean, Ashley, imagine if it was like a real picture of like a city street and a sidewalk with like busy stuff behind you, like whatever, cool restaurants, and like just you like walking down the sidewalk.
Right.
But like you bigger, like real high definition, you know what I mean? Like that would look so cool. I'd be like, oh my gosh, she's in Atlanta or she's in some area that I need to see.
Right.
Are you from Atlanta?
I am 41 years born and raised.
Okay. I just asked because if you're not from a market, like a lot of times they get caught up on that. I'm like, oh, well, I'm not here. Like, what do I know? I've leaned into that and been like, I just did a video. It was like 10 things that I've learned after living in Charleston for 10 years.
Okay.
You know, but with you can do the opposite of that. I mean, like, you know, 10 things I've learned being born and raised in Atlanta. So now you can do those pros and cons videos and what it's like living there, but now you're telling the story from your point of view.
Right.
And people connect with that, and they'll connect with titles like that. I did one, I moved from an area called Johns Island to James Island. And I think the title was like 7 reasons why I left Johns Island after 7 years. And it was just comparing the two areas. But it was my story. It was why my wife and I and why my clients are choosing one over the other.
Right.
So as opposed to just reading the list. So think of the videos that you can do that on, like areas you've grown up, areas you've lived, areas that you would love to live in as a native.
Okay.
because people are going to gravitate one way or the other. They're either going to be like, oh, well, this person's relocated already to there, so we're going to use him. Or they could think, oh, well, she's a native. Like, we want someone who knows the ins and outs, who's spent 25 years, you said? We'll just stick with that. 25 years there. So just lean into that expertise and your story
Okay.
on that and incorporate that into your titles.
Okay. Awesome.
But other than that, like, I like them, just a couple words. And
What do you think about the lengths of her videos? Like, I'm looking and I noticed a lot of them are under that 10-minute mark. Do you, and like, the way I look at the length of videos, I try to think about it if I'm a viewer. So if I see a subject and I'm like, everything I would ever need to know about Atlanta, but then the video is 2 minutes, I'm going, okay.
Yep.
I don't know that I'm going to get everything in 2 minutes. That's probably not worth me watching. But I don't know the answer to what the length is, right? We're all worried about people's attention spans and keeping them on too long. So we're kind of like torn. Do we just say screw it and give the info and make it as long as it needs to be?
I mean, I've always been told the ideal length of a video is as long as you can keep someone entertained and engaged. For some people, it's 2 minutes. For some people, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But like what you said, if I see a video that's like everything you need to know about living in Atlanta and it's 2 minutes long, I'm like, what are you going to tell me in 2 minutes? Even if you start that video with like, in 2 minutes, I'm going to tell you 20 things you need to know about Atlanta, and you just like rip through it. That's like a short form video.
Right.
Not YouTube. No, YouTube, I don't think will ever say this, but anything over 8 minutes is good, because after 8 minutes, they can put another ad in the middle of your video. YouTube's main income comes from selling ads. So if they can put another ad in your video after it's 8 minutes long, it's probably going to suggest that video a little bit more, because that means more income for them.
Got it. I had tried to start scaling back a little bit just because I feel like people, my average watch time, I think, is right around like 5-ish minutes. So I tried to scale back a little bit on time just because of the average watch time. I feel like people are falling off after that anyways.
So I shoot for 50% watch time on anything under 12 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
And if I put out a 4-minute video, it's probably going to get 2 minutes of watch time. If I put out a 12-minute video, it's probably going to get 6 minutes of watch time.
Got it.
So don't scale your video back to what your watch time is. People are always going to drop off. They've got kids. They don't want their boss to see it or whatever, or they found their information they needed and they've moved on. They're always going to drop off.
Right.
But the longer you can keep them there. So if you shoot for 40 to 50% and you put out a 12-minute video, there's your 5 minutes. But if you put out a 5-minute video, you're getting 2 minutes.
Right.
YouTube wants 5 minutes.
Okay.
So if you give them more, they will watch longer. But then once you start getting too long, then don't be discouraged, but you'll see like 12% watch time if it's like a 35-minute video.
Right.
That's fine. It's going to come down the longer it gets.
Okay.
But you're still going to have the people that watch the whole thing. YouTube is a platform for long form content. They are not here to watch something quick. They are here to dedicate 10 to 20 minutes to a video to learn something or be entertained.
Right. Okay.
I was going to say,
so
like, all the calls that I get over the years from YouTube videos, it'll be like, Matt, they're so intentional. Matt, we're moving to Franklin. We've been watching your videos for 3 years now. I love the one where you did this and this. And like, I don't have the best watch times. I don't have the most subscribers, but like, I think you'll find people that will watch a lot of your videos are like, will become these huge fans, and then they eventually reach out to you like with the intention of buying. That's the power of YouTube and what's so great about it.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, because you're building that trust.
Right.
I mean, these videos are here to, they already know you, they like you, and they trust you by the time they call.
Right.
The longer you can be in front of them, the better.
Okay.
One crazy stat to look at is if you go into like the advanced stats, you can see like where like the device your viewers are watching on. And over the past maybe like year and a half to 2 years, TV has like crept to the top. Phone gets the most number of viewers, but TV gets the most hours of viewers.
Right.
So we don't have cable. We have YouTube here at
Same.
my house.
Yeah.
So you're not going onto a YouTube video on your TV to watch a 2-minute video. You're going to watch a 15-minute video on your couch. They're letting you into their living room. And that is a massive amount of trust.
Right.
They're letting you into their living room to talk to them about moving to Atlanta.
I think I just realized that. I've been doing this for a while, but I just realized what you said about a month ago when a client sent me a picture of her watching me on her television. And it was like this epiphany. And it also kind of scared me. I was like, wow, I need to make sure that like my makeup is top notch, because they're not watching me on with little computers. It's like a massive screen TV. But that really was like a pivotal point for me of like, I'm in their living room. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And at that point, you become a superstar.
Right.
When you make it on their TV, you are famous in their world. Like, I could watch Jeremy all day on here, but if I put Jeremy on my TV and I watch, like, let's look at Ryan Serhant,
Right.
his new show and all of that. Like, he does what we do, but he's up on the TV.
Right.
So now we're like, he's a star.
Right.
Even like, you just put his YouTube channel on with all these big houses. Like, that's what he does.
Right.
Like, he gets stepped up a notch because he's in your living room.
Right.
And that's what's happening to us.
Okay.
Is we are in their living room.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeremy.
I don't normally dress this nice, but I was late for my own meeting because I had a $2.3 million listing appointment from YouTube in a neighborhood that I happened to just shoot a video on about in a very expensive area that I was showing multiple properties and price ranges. And then I made a video about sellers or what sellers need to face in the market. And I get a call from this guy. And so I think it's really important too. I don't know where I'm sorry I was late. I didn't see everything. But one thing that's really important is we got to talk to both buyers and sellers as well, because those buyers are moving at some point, right? In the next year, if rates go down, those buyers have to potentially sell. I mean, if we're thinking about why people are not selling right now, it's because they have a 2% interest rate, but they do want to go and they're just waiting for the right reason. So I think it's important on your channel to talk about what sellers are facing, because that is the reason why he called me. He's like, look, we love Texas. We love being here, but we think we want to go back to the Bay Area. A lot of the things that you said, we agree with, we want to be here, but unfortunately it's just too hot. We called you because we know you sell $1 million properties. I mean, I don't ever post $1 million properties. I share tours of properties that we talk about for areas. So all those things work. And Ashley, it's so good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you. Did you get the listing?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Excited. And he was so excited that we're going to do off market, the luxury market, because that's something I've been promoting on my channel as well. So he's so excited to do that.
Awesome.
So awesome.
Thank you guys.
Whose channels have we reviewed so far? Did we do Andrew's yet?
No, we are just 2 through with,
Oh, cool.
yeah, Marina.
What about Tammy? Is
and
Tammy on here? I'd love to see
Ashley.
Tammy's channel.
See, we have Andrew Morris sent us a link. I can pull that up for you. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Rebecca. We know it's 70 degrees in the Bay Area. I might have a client for you, Rebecca.
It is not 70 here. I think we have like a heat index of like 103 right now. It's 11:30. So here's our
Very
next
early
victim.
stages of this channel. A little embarrassed here, but I'm here to learn and grow. So roast me.
No, I'm glad you're here early because it's easier to change.
Yeah, I kind of got relaunching about a month or so ago, and then I recently changed brokerages to Real, and kind of went through a little transition phase there. So ready to get back up and running here.
All right. Well, Jeremy, you're new here. We'll let you start. How can he take over your market?
Do you want the full roast, Andrew?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, good. Number one, let's start with your banner. Guys, what do we think about the banner? Matt.
Take the QR code off.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that, like the yellow. I don't know. For me in Texas, right? Like, I just feel like I would see those Texas colors or whatever on the flag, and I do different colors.
Yeah. We talked about banners before you jumped on, Jeremy,
Okay.
about like simple is usually better
Okay,
with them.
good.
Like just like who you are, where you are, and what you do. Here's my name. I'm in Austin and I'm a realtor. Like if you can cover those, like you're pretty much set because most people aren't going to get to your banner until they're already in your world and have watched a ton of your videos.
I agree. So I would start with the banner work on here. I would obviously, if you're Austin, the fact that I have to read that this is Austin is annoying to me. And that's the way a consumer is going to look at this, right? So I would do something with a background that's a little more Austin, maybe slight blur. So kind of like it looks like it. But for me, it's a lot of text. The QR code should go, let's meet in person or Zoom. I would just get rid of that. People in the description, they know how to find you. Highlight
Put the
Austin.
Texas flag because y'all love your flag.
Yeah, just that and a bunch of guns, and I think you'll be okay.
That's it. Nothing else. Just the Texas flag and guns.
Yeah, and the yellow is definitely off-putting to me. Is that your branding colors? Are they yellow?
So yeah, my group is highlight property group. So I kind of play on the highlight yellow color, like
Got
my
it. Okay.
signage is yellow, all that, like all my text is yellow, that sort of thing.
Then I would change the background on your header away from the yellow and do maybe a cityscape or something. But then I would keep your profile picture there with the yellow.
Okay.
It's just a lot of yellow in your face.
I hear you. Yeah. And with like a background photo, are you thinking like an Austin skyline or what did you have in mind there?
Well, what areas are you primarily in?
So I'm South Austin, like 35, like South Park Meadows. So I got like,
Okay.
Goodnight Ranch, Easton Park. I'm right up from like
Yeah.
Butte, Kyle.
Then I would go more of like downtown Austin cityscape.
I'm like 10 minutes south of downtown.
Yeah, no, but there's no big like monument South Austin really that's gonna make people know you're in South Austin, right? So
right. Yeah.
Okay. What do we
Stevie
think
Ray
about
Vaughan?
thumbnails?
What is that?
Yeah. So what do we think about thumbnails and titles, guys? I mean, and if you're on the channel, I'm sure you guys talked about thumbnails and titles, but I'm just curious if you want to unmute yourself as well. I want to hear about thumbnails and titles. What do we think we can do? Let's start with the one at 3.9 interest rate one, the very first one, like we can see. What do we all think?
Too boring.
Definitely.
I'm not intrigued by it at all. Like it's just like, oh, okay, rates. Like, I think you can incorporate rates into a thumbnail, but like I want to see you on there like super excited about it with a title that's like super exciting as well. Like that's what that should be. Like that needs to evoke that wow, like this is crazy emotion. Yeah. Then like you want someone to be like, why is he so excited? I want to be that excited.
Matt, what do you think about the title?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know, with it just being about the rates, it's just not intriguing to me. I get, so it must be like is it like a home builder that's offering special rates? Is that what it is?
Right. Yeah. It's one of the better incentive plans that I came across in the area. A lot of them are, going down to 599 or whatever, temporary buy downs, et cetera. So I felt like that might be something of interest to folks who only think that you can get 7% right now.
Yeah. I
I like
almost
that.
wouldn't give them the answer. Like, don't tell them the 3.99%, but
Yeah.
somehow tease it.
Right.
So I did a video, and I think we talked about this when I was on, Jeremy, about this. And my video was about like secrets that builders aren't telling you or something like that. And the whole video was me talking about incentives and saying, I get emails every day, every week with builders' new incentives. I said, all agents get these, but none of them will share them with you. And I'm willing to share this with you. So I created an alias email. It was like incentives at whatever. And I said, just email this and I will send them all over to you. That was my call to action. I got 6 leads in like 3 to 4 hours on that video. Because it was like, hey, all agents are gatekeeping this information and I'm going to give it to you. I like went through like, hey, here's what they're doing. Here's why they're doing this. We see everything from 3.99 to 5.99 rates, 10,000 in closing costs, this and this and this. I'm like showing them, like holding up printed out emails. And my call to action was just, I will send you all of this. Just email me.
And
I closed a deal on it.
Bill, is this you that has it up?
Yeah.
Can you click on that video? I'm just curious what that video looks like.
Can you hear it?
No.
How do I don't know how to share audio.
When you share,
Okay,
I think there's
here
a
it is.
button to click share. So this is, Andrew, this is just a property tour. Is that what it is?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
This be the best deal in new construction in the greater Austin area
Great. Hook.
in Homestead Estates in Elgin, Texas by
Here?
LGI Homes.
Yeah.
4-bedroom home on a big lot, just over $375,000. This community offers all of that here in East Travis County, just east of Manor, strategically positioned between the Tesla and Samsung factories. We'll take you throughout the community in every square inch of the inside and outside of this home. And this builder through June 30th, 2024 is offering one of the best incentives I've seen in the Austin area. I'll share that piece of info here later in the video.
Cool. So not terrible. It's a good place to start. So one thing is you're talking about the community and you're talking about things that would have been a good spot to put maybe some B-roll of the community, right? So
Right.
if you shot some B-roll of the community, just put like a real quick, like 1.5 second, like blurb. So people are like, oh, that's kind of cool.
A couple little jump cuts.
You putting all the text over the home. So like on the thumbnail, I would get rid of all the text in the thumbnail and maybe Bill, if you can pull up Raj Sehu's channel. If you look at what Raj Sehu, don't subscribe to Raj's channel, please. We don't want to mess with his algorithm. So see how his are like super clean and look at the titles are a little bit different. So if you're going to do property tours like this, I would recommend maybe leaning a little bit this direction.
Okay.
And if it is a 3.9 interest rate that you're really pushing, what I would do is maybe put like the 3.9% in the cloud up there. And then unbelievable, like you had, the title wasn't terrible. I would maybe say for a title, beat 7% interest rates in Austin, crazy deals. and then do the whole video about the crazy deal and the community. But you're kind of putting a 3.9 interest rate with a property tour with this. I would maybe pick a lane and stick with the lane. Like what Bill said, he was talking about interest rates. It's okay to talk about how the good of a deal it is, but maybe tighten it up, I guess. What do you think, Matt?
That was just, I was sitting here thinking as we started watching it, I'm like, okay, 3.99% interest rate. But then it turned into kind of like one of Raj's tours. So I think there's a mixed message there, like they were saying, like, pick, is it a home tour? Okay, that's fine. Or is it about the crazy deals on interest rates and that they're, whatever incentives they're providing, then go that route. I mean,
Yeah, and if you're doing the home tours, like, don't say, I don't like to timestamp them like in my words. So if, when you said they're offering this rate through June, whatever,
Right.
I would say, hey, right now at the time of this filming, like they're offering a 3.99% interest rate, but they're always changing their incentives. So if you want to know the current incentives, like hit me up and I will let you know. So now you're making it live longer.
Sure.
Because the second someone hears June 20th, they're watching it in August, then we're like, June 20th, this video is done. So kind of change those words to that call to action is, hey, you want to know their incentives right now? Like, here's what they are now. So you're kind of teasing them with what they do. I mean, like, but they're changing every month. So just shoot me an email, hit me up, and I'll send you over the current incentives whatever day you're watching this, or however you want to do it. And that's a great call to action because you're offering them something. You're basically offering them free money on what those incentives are.
Yeah, I'm offering, that's a great hook. I'm offering you free money.
I'm write that one down.
So I would say my biggest critiques of the channel, we talked about the banner. I would take, that's way too much text for the thumbnails. I would definitely clean up those thumbnails, a much better shot of the house, and then really wordplay your titles a little bit. And I think I'd like to see where you go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely committing to, get this up and running. Now, as far as like the home tours and like neighborhood tours, I'm also from Los Angeles. I moved here 5 years ago. So like, that's kind of the idea. Like my avatar is like the relocation client. Obviously we've kind of slowed down with migration, but once things loosen up, I think the flood channels open back up this way. Is that kind of the right, I guess, lane, if you will, to like continue with those two? Is there anything else I should be incorporating? Like I had that one like talking head video about like kind of like a market update. Am I wasting my time with that, or is it like a little bit of everything? At the same time, I still want to market to like local sellers in the area as well. I know, Jeremy, you said that you were able to attract a seller by a home tour. Anything else I can be, anything I'm missing in terms of like video strategy?
Andrew, are you in any of your videos yourself talking, or is it voiceovers?
I'm in a couple of them. Like some of the tours are like very like limited like appearances. I want to incorporate more of that as well, where I'm like talking and walking out front of the home or the sidewalk or like a trail in the community, the park, etc. And I just have like the one like office video, if you will, where I'm talking the whole time.
I think it's a good idea. And look, some people are different. Raj is a great example, of course. We talk about him a lot, but like, show your personality a little bit too, right? If you get in front of the camera, that's going to attract people that are, that you want to work with, really. And that people that are like you and similar, they're going to say, oh, that guy's cool. I'm going to give him a call. Like,
right.
In my opinion, that's when it got really fun, when I started getting calls from people that mountain bike. And they're like,
I would say, I want to piggyback on what Matt said. I think really the important thing is if you're going to do those things, you're copying my channel, right? So you're already have me in that space, and now you got to compete with me. Right. That's going to be hard to do. So what I would recommend is pick the space, like what Matt's saying, pick the space you want to be in, focus on the areas you want to sell in, focus on the price point you want to sell in, and make your content around that. If you try to go too broad, you're going to paint such a broad stroke in Austin. It is almost worth it in Austin to go more niche, right? So if you're Southeast and you want to focus Southeast, I would show everything you're getting Southeast. I would show downtown, how close you are to downtown. I would focus on those things versus trying to be versatile like what my channel does, because then your market videos are competing with mine. You're just not going to compete with mine. Not that you can't, it's just you do a market video.
It's a harder path.
It's a harder, that's what I'm saying. It's a harder path for you. So find a
Absolutely.
path where maybe some of the bigger channels out there aren't going, and just go down that path real hard, right? Figure out the people in LA that you want to attract. What are the things that they really want to know, right? And focus on those. If that's who you're going after, an LA crowd, what does LA crowd want? I mean, I got a client right now looking at a $5 million home. What does he want? He wants uber luxury, and he wants it at a good price. Two things do not go together in Austin, Texas. So showing those things might be beneficial, like really showing people from LA what they are getting, because the common misconception still is that Austin's cheap, even though it's not. So that'd be my suggestion.
Great. Thank you so much.
So
yeah.
Before you jumped on, Jeremy, I was telling Matt, so I'm starting a second channel to break into our historic market.
Is it called Only Bill? Okay.
Yeah, it's just feet pics. Figure that would work. But that's an area of the market that we've got a ton of people on YouTube here, but no one's really touching that market yet. So I'm going to keep my channel for what I do, but then I'm going to go all in on just it's a super specific historic homes.
I like
market.
There's an agent in Dallas that I've been working with that's what he's doing in Dallas. He wants to work just a specific area in Dallas, and it's all historic homes. And I'm telling him, like, that is such a niche market that you will grow that channel really well, because, and for you, it would work really well as well, because you're telling history. Like, think about what Roland Osage is doing with short form content on TikTok. People love looking inside these like old historic homes in the Bay Area. I think that's a fucking killer way to go.
Yeah. And like, look at Paul Likens down in Florida. Like, he had those couple of videos blow up because he did videos about condos. Now, if you want to get into the condo market, no one is doing condos like that I've seen. Like, hey, here's a channel about Austin condo living, like touring the condos, talking about what buildings are where are the cool penthouses. Like, that's a good niche to get into if you wanted to as well.
Yeah, there's one kid who's doing it, but he's doing short form content, Dago Ojeda. And it's interesting. It's good. It's definitely for short form content. I've tried to do longer form for condos downtown. It hasn't taken off yet, but it hasn't been my focus. So
yeah, I think that's something that any market you're in, if you have a big downtown and you're like, you know what, I just want to focus downtown and I want to sell condos and penthouses. Like, that is a killer market to get into.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, they're like, no, I want to sell like big houses. No, I'll sell an expensive little condo. Like, and then you think about it, like, you sell 2 of them in a building, you become the guy for that building. Like,
yeah,
just try and niche down as much, especially now that more people are getting into YouTube. The more you niche down, the better you'll be.
I'm a huge fan of that. I see
so kind of my strategy, what we were talking about, like, I guess, more of a Jeremy question. If we're talking about like geographic farm, my like ideal farm would be like Mopac to 183 south of Lady Bird Lake, and then probably incorporating like Buda and Kyle, since those have all the new build communities. Would like adding on downtown in like a condo, like the the high rise residential that we have, would that be just like oversaturation, doing too much, or would that be okay to layer on top of like that niche down kind of local South Austin type of and beyond type of focus.
What price point do you want to be in?
I'd say, you know, realistically, I'd love to live in like the 500 to, you know, approaching 1 million or above. And then, you know, obviously, you know, going beyond that as things kind of build and open up. But
so the problem you're going to run into on this channel, if you're doing a lot of content about Buda, you're going to start attracting clients that are looking specifically for new construction and they want to deal. I run into this. There's a segment of people that they come to me, they want new construction and they want all my commission. I'm like, wait a second, you came to me, you've used my YouTube content for all of this information for new construction, and now you want me to give up my commission after you've basically used me already? No, kick rocks. But then they call me to sell their house, which is odd. So I would be very careful about price points and what price points you hang out in. That would be my suggestion.
Noted.
We're at an hour. It looks like Tammy jumped off. People jumped off. Any last words, Matt and Bill?
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks. I apologize for jumping on late. I thought I could pull it off. Being in the car did not work how I anticipated. So, but yeah, Andrew, let's connect, man. Did you go to Real Cafe yesterday?
Yep, I did. I met a bunch of amazing folks. I met Raj. I met Rambo who's on the call. Ian, of course. I jumped on their branding strategy Real Academy yesterday.
Nice.
So got some good stuff from them as well. So yeah, looking forward to lean in. Would love to connect with you as well, Jeremy. Perfect.
Yeah. Who brought you into Real?
I came over. I'm ex-EXP. So I came over with a couple ex-EXPers as well. Dustin Brom and Brian Kinsella.
Yeah, the massive agent, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I know Dustin. Awesome. Well, yeah, definitely plug into the community. I do monthly events here in Austin, so definitely reach out and we want to get you plugged in.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Bye.